Hi everyone, welcome back to Adventure 365 and we're back in the workshop working on Beryl. We've got a little job to do on her and it's going to make the world of difference. We're going to be fitting an Ex Engineering Ex Deflect anti-roll bar, which is a disconnectable anti-roll bar which you can turn in and turn out. So on the road we can have the anti-roll bar in, if we're off-road we can turn the anti-roll bar off. It's an absolutely amazing piece of kit. Everyone I've spoke to says they're brilliant, they love them, and I've had nothing but good reviews about them, so I've ordered one. So it's not a paid promotion, I bought it and I want to fit it and I'll give you my honest review of it. So let's have a look what comes in the kit and then we'll get it fitted on the truck. So what do you get in the kit? Oh, and by the way, please ignore the axle, that's for another project. What do you get in the kit? You get two, I don't know what to call them, tie bars. They will go to the axle, and I'm not kidding guys, can you see that? If that'll focus up on it, there you go. These are 10mm thick, and that, I'm not kidding, is a big lump of metal. That one's 10mm thick as well. So you get two of those. They go from the anti-roll bar to the axle. That's just a connector plate that goes behind that bit, and excuse me if you haven't recognised it, that is a swivel hub. No, not a swivel hub, what am I on about? Freewheeling hub, that's what I meant to say, swivel hub. But yeah, freewheeling hub, and that's how it works. So you go in from 4 to 2 and that'll disconnect the anti-roll bar. Genius, tell you, genius idea. Poly bushes, couple of ball joints, the tie rods to put it in place, the other end which is just a standard Landrover hub, poly bushes for the for those. There's an oil seal, some fastening bits. There's a few bits in there. We'll go through that as we fit it. That'll tie to the chassis. A fairly substantial bag of bolts and a that'll be a prop shaft, no, half shaft. I haven't opened it yet, so I'm assuming it's just a half shaft. That's what they've used. Yeah, it's just a half shaft. So you're not going to break that, that's going to be fairly strong too. So that's what you get in the kit. One of the things you don't get in the kit is instructions. There's a sticker on there that says go to the website. So go to www.foundry4x4co.uk and look for the instructions, and I couldn't find them. Then they're not in the PDF files that they have for fitting, unless I was stupid and missed it, but I went through it twice. But I just found it on the internet. I just put the Ex Deflect anti-roll bar kit in and it came up. So it's either missing off their website or I missed it. So there you go, that's what you get in the kit. Let's get it fitted. It doesn't look that complicated. Right, step one. I am going via the instructions, by the way. So step one, a little bit of grease on this piece here and press this little oil seal in. It says you can do it with your fingers, and they're not kidding. You can. Maybe. Maybe you need bigger fingers. Yeah, it's going in. nearly all the way in. It's just sitting a little bit proud. Oh, no, there you go. You can see that. It's just sitting a little bit proud there. So I'll just get it to fit flush. What it is where they've machined it there. There's a little burr and it's binding up on it. It'll go in. It's only plastic. I think I just need a harder surface. Let me find something harder to press that down on, because this is flexing and it should go straight in. There we go. Nice and flush. Just give it a tap with a rubber mallet and it just went in. It's literally I just tapped it once and it was just enough to clear that burr. You see where it, yeah, you can see where it's just burred the rubber up where it went in. It's just a bit of a sharp edge, that's all. So that's in. Step 2. Assemble these, they call them knuckle bars, by the way. That's what they're calling them in the instructions. So take your ball joint and wind the lock nut on. So you've got the lock nut, just wind it onto the ball joint that way. So it looks like that. And just start it onto those. Onto the knuckle bar. Don't lock them off at the moment because you don't know what length you're going to need them, so I'm just going to leave them with a few threads in so they're like that. So that's that bit complete, and now we need to put the bushes in there. Okay, so those bars are cranked. Let me just adjust the camera. So yeah, like I said, those bars are cranked. So if you've got this piece going that way, you want the crank going that way, so they're cranked this way, so it's away from the springs. That's what it says in the instructions. So you want the arms cranked that way, and I am looking at the picture on the computer which is behind me, and that's what it's showing me. So yeah, so they go like that. So what we need to do is put the bushes in. Now the instructions also say that it comes with grease for these poly bushes. I didn't get any grease, so I'm just going to have to use ordinary grease. You know, we always tell you like it is, guys, and if it comes without something, we're going to tell you. And it didn't come with grease. And the instructions I've got show completely different bolts as well. So, it escaped. Right, okay. You have not got the best view there. Well, hopefully that gives you a slight better view. So like I said, you want that knuckle bar cranked that way, so that it's facing forward. And I'm still looking at the screen behind me, and that's what it's showing me, so there you go. So that can only go that way. That must go that way. That must go through there. That will go on the back side. It also says in the instructions don't use washers. But I can't see these washers fit anything else. But I've also got the wrong instructions, so that's not helping. Yeah, I would definitely say, as that's the only way that's going to fit, that's how I'm going to do it, and I can't find an up-to-date set of instructions, and that one only comes to there. So, looking at that, what do you reckon? Do you reckon I've got it right? Not tightening any of it up yet, but once that's pulled through, that'll be fine. That'll pull the bushes in, and that'll be, hang on, which side's that going to be? That's going to be on the wrong side, isn't it? That might be wrong. Let me have a look at the instructions again. Now I've just had a proper look at the instructions. That is right, because this is the driver's side. I was thinking this was the passenger, and it definitely isn't. The other one is the passenger, so that's driver's. So I think it's going to go like that. Tell you what, it's bloody heavy though. There you go, I just chucked that one on quick. So the same as the other side. It's going like that. But obviously the passenger side, so it goes on the outer. So it'll be like that when it's on the vehicle. I don't think it's going to break, I tell you that. So we've come away from the bench for a minute to assemble the centre shaft, the torsion shaft. It's going to be fun. I've got to get it out of the packet. It's really well in there. We'll go and get a razor blade and I'll be back. Well, that was harder than I thought it was going to be, getting that out of the packet. But there you go. It is just a half shaft. So the cutout in the teeth here has the slot for the circlip. You want this on the passenger side. So it says, oh God, just adding more weight to my truck. Right, so we want to assemble these, and it says use the grease that's supplied, you know, that grease that didn't come with it. So I'll go and grab some off the bench. So I've stuck a thin layer of grease on the inside of these. At this moment it doesn't matter, you know, where you actually attach them, because it'll sort itself out on the vehicle when you bolt it up. Tell you what, this is bloody heavy, this half shift, this. And awkward. Get the missus to help you when you if you're putting one of these on. So just press them on, they'll just go. Squidge. There you go, sorted. Right, we're ready to bolt that on now. So we're going to have to go under the truck, which means I'm going to have to go and get some camera lights. So on the underside of the chassis you've got the brackets where the old anti-roll bar used to be. So we want to put the brackets that we've just put onto the anti-roll bar itself, we want to bolt it there. So there's 4 bolts. So I think this is going to be quite awkward on my own, but I'm sure I'll manage. And that's the rust falling off my fuel tank. But yeah, so there and there, so let's crack on. Now I'm just going to clear out all the holes, as there's a bit of rust in them. That's it, they're all nice and clean. Do the same on the other side. So that's that sorted. So what I'm going to do first is offer this up, oh, I wasn't a million miles away, and get 1 bolt in each one. They're still tight. I might just open those up a little bit more because that's going to give me grief otherwise. That might have only been a 9.5mm drill. I'm going to open those holes up to 10. Yeah, just open them up a bit more. That was only a 9.5mm drill. Now they fit. Oh, bolts fell out. I've opened them up too much. This is really difficult to do on your own. I'll just put that like that for now. It does need a washer on the back, but that'll just hold it while I do the other one. So attach all 4 bolts. Doesn't really matter which way you put them in, whether you drop them in from the top or push them up from the bottom. Might be easier actually to drop them in from the top, because then you're not trying to do what I'm trying to do now, is to start that. I wonder if flipping them over might be a good idea. So drop them in. You can't really see from that side, can you, what I'm doing this side? And what I'm going to do is that. I'm going to drop them in from that way. And that's it, tighten them up, do the same on the other side. So that's what it should look like when it's on. And the rod still flexes in the joints because they are freshly greased, so it should move around in there. So that's that step done. Next step. Now the next step of this is to attach the torsion bar. Without trapping my fingers in it, it goes like that. So we want to bolt on that bit, the drive flange. Now also comes with that is a circlip and just a standard Landrover cap. I guess if you really wanted to, you could put one of the heavy duty drive flanges on, but I can't see there'd be any need for that. But it would look cooler. Have I got one? Can I modify it? We'll have a look on the instructions if I'm putting these on the right way, where the nuts won't go in on the inside or the outside. I would have thought like that with them on the outside, but I will check. I've checked, I was wrong. You push them through from that way. You go to the back. Yeah, it looks nicer anyway that way. You've got to have the aesthetics, haven't you? The aesthetics have got to be right. These all want torquing up to 30 Newton meters as well. I'll do that when they're on, because obviously you can't hold it and torque it up, so bob it together like this, just loosely, and we'll slide it onto the torsion bar. It's the last one of that. They send exactly the right amount of bolts. Whoever packed it can definitely count. There we go. You end up with that. So now we can just put that on the torsion bar and line this up with the axle, so that one's pushing through, and they do send you the bolts for the axle as well. So let's get that one on. We're getting there. Because the torsion bar's not fixed, we can do that at the moment, so fitting it's dead easy. Getting in round the camera, isn't there? I'll have to come on the other side of you. And you want something like that. Wow. This will be the first Landrover I've had in about 30 years that's got an anti-roll bar of any description. So what I'm going to do now, torque them up to 30 Newton meters, line everything up and have a quick read of the instructions, see which bit I'm to do next. Which bit I'm going to do next. There we go. So now we're on the other side. I've put the circlip on and torqued the other unit up in place. So now we've got to start on this one. The first step, slide the seal on. And then put the aluminium locking ring on, which I haven't got with me. I shall go and get that. Which we want on, something like that. And that'll pull itself up square as everything's bolted together. I need to be able to get the bolts in there. So nip that up with a, I think it's an M10. It looks like a 10mm. So I'll go and span it and get that tightened up. So I don't know at what point my camera just died because I wasn't looking at the screen. So we need to get some bolts in that and start pulling it all together. And I need to put that in the 4x4 position. That was nothing but brutality, I'm sorry. That's where I'm going to need it. Well, actually, that's not bad there. So, I'm going to put a little bit of instant gasket on the back, a little bit of sealant, don't need one on this side. And we're going to bolt that up. So, a little bit of instant gasket on the back. The other ones are easy to get to. That's just going to rotate round under its own weight. So man, this is fiddly. If you get one in, it'll be fine. And this gasket's suffering at the moment. I think we'll glue the gasket on with a bit of silicone. I'm going to put all this together and find out it's in the wrong place, aren't I? That's what's going to happen. Yeah, because we can't spin that round, can we? Duh. I guess we could if we took the other side off. That was a stupid... Yeah, this is going to be fiddly, especially on my own because I haven't got anyone to hold it. That definitely needs to come further round. Okay, I'm going to fiddle with this for 20 minutes and work out how to align it, and I'll come back and tell you that it all went swimmingly. Okay, after a few minutes of prattling around, I managed to get it on, so I'm just going to torque it up now. It was just a case of needing to lie underneath it and move the camera out of the way. But everything lines up now. The spline, as you can see, the torsion bar, as you can see, is nicely pressed up against the locking ring on the freewheeling hub assembly. So we've got all those measurements right. It is fairly idiot proof, it's just a bit fiddly where it starts to get a bit of tension on it. Oh, got one missing there. Missing one. Hello, Teddy. Hello, Ted. Look who this is. Go on, bugger off. Now, find me a missing bolt. There we go. So all I've got to do now is finish tightening that up. Pack this with grease, pack the other side, reassemble it, make sure everything's in line, level these arms up and tighten everything up to the correct specifications. So we're not far off done, so I'll finish tightening this up and we'll get some grease and pack this. Okay, there we go, got it all together. Bit of prattling around, lining it all up. I found out one of the issues is, it's because this is a modified disco axle on a 110, and the 110 springs are obviously bigger, so I may have issues with that down the road, I'm not sure. They are clearing at the moment, but when they start working, I don't know if they're going to hit the springs. So if that's the case, what I'll have to do is cut the brackets off the axle and extend them out backwards. So that's something to look at further forward if they start rubbing, because they are really, that bit there is really close to the spring. It's clearing, but only just. So after a bit of a look out, and I thought, thinking about it, I thought, well, it's not a 110 axle, is it? It's a custom built axle. There's nothing, standard about that axle. So if I have to cut the bits off and step them out, they probably want stepping out like another 15 mil. So if I have to cut them off, weld them back on 15 mil further out, so be it. It'll happen in the future. But at the moment, this is all lined up. I've just got a few bolts to tighten up, put the cover plate on, put this back on, and this is done. So let's get this cover on. You have to get that first one started because these are spring loaded. So I'll take it, two-wheel drive will disengage it and four-wheel drive will engage it, so we need to leave it in four-wheel drive. I shall have a look in the instructions in a minute. But it looks good. Right. So we're on to the last job now. Now we've got that on. Just tighten this top nut up here and put the one on the bottom, and this job's wrapped up. If I can find the parts. Oh, come on, split pin. You knew you want to get in there. There you go, on from the bottom. Well, there is clearance there. Not much, but there is some. I can see us revisiting this in the future and moving this further back so it's straight. There's I'm hoping I don't have to, but I can see that happening in the future, because these springs have already got a lift on them. So these springs are actually higher than they should be. So if they were lower down, this wouldn't have gone on at all. So, The joys of modifying things. One cure leads to another problem, I think. So we'll see if they bind up. If they do, we can either lift the spring higher. I don't think that's going to help. We don't want to make the truck any higher. So I think we'll end up having to cut these off and move the whole thing back, just so that's perpendicular. It wouldn't have to come back much. $10mm? Yeah, something like 10mm. Right, so there we have it. One Ex Engineering anti-roll bar. Will it work? Don't know. Wow, guys, I can't tell you how humid it is and how miserable it is in here today. It's been raining all morning and now it's gone really warm. Ugh, don't like working when it's like this. But anyway, Ex Engineering anti-roll bar. I can't tell you what it drives like because I can't get the truck out. There's a van behind the doors and I haven't got the keys for it. So we'll give it a test drive on another episode. I'm hoping that I'm going to have enough clearance on those knuckle bars. There's that much on the springs right now, and I've bounced the truck up and down and they don't seem to move. So if they move when the suspension's twisting, I don't know. If they do start hitting the springs, like I said, I'm going to have to move the bracket on the axle backwards, which means the axle that's on the floor down here that you saw earlier, which is going on Heimdall, I'll have to do the same on that because I want to put one of these anti-roll bars on Heimdall because he doesn't corner the best on the road. You can drive him, but he just gets wayward without a rear anti-roll bar. So he's a lot of weight to, sort of start to want to wander off. So I would like to fit one on that. So if I find a problem on this one, I know I'm going to encounter it on the next one I fit. So it's all joy in it. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this episode, guys, give me that thumbs up. Hit that notification bell when the next video comes out, and I will see you on the next one.